A traveling salesman is driving through a snowstorm in a remote part of Exmoor at night when his car breaks down, leaving him stranded. No cell phone signal? What can he do? Blinking the snow flurries out of his eyes, he notices the dim lights of a house in the distance. With no other choice, he trudges through the snowdrifts, across a couple of fields until he reaches a remote farmhouse. Shivering from the cold, he knocks on the solid farmhouse door. The door is answered by a rather large and elderly farmer. "What do you want?" he says. "Sorry to disturb you," the salesman says, "but my car has broken down up on the main road. My phone won't work, and so I was wondering if you might have a phone here I could use." "Ain't no phone here, lad. You'll have to come in and stay till morning. Then I'll give you a lift to the village on the tractor. The pub'll have a phone." He's ushered into the parlor and sat in front of a blazing fireplace to thaw out. As his senses start to return, he notices the beautiful young lady on a sofa, darning woolen socks, placing her work to one side. She stands and asks, "Would you like to join us for supper? It's just some sandwiches and a mug of cocoa, but you'd be more than welcome." Turning to the farmer, the salesman says, "It's really very kind of you both, but I don't want to impose on you and your daughter." "Daughter?" booms the farmer, laughing. "She's my wife." The salesman is incredulous. The farmer must be in his 60s at least, while his wife can only be mid-20s at most. And was it his imagination, or was the young lady now casting amorous glances in his direction? He joined the couple at their dining table, and they all enjoyed a convivial evening chatting while eating doorstep sandwiches washed down with a big mug of cocoa. During this time, it became very obvious that the lady was very much taken with the salesman. "Right," said the farmer. "Time for bed now, so we can get you to the village in good time tomorrow morning. We're a bit short of space at the moment. The sofa is the dog's bed, so you'll have to share our bed upstairs. Don't worry, my wife and me haven't had relations for years, so you won't be in the way." After nervously undressing, the salesman settled into the bed space between the farmer and his wife. The farmer turned his back to the salesman and was soon fast asleep. He turned towards the wife and was met with a passionate kiss and embrace. "Would you like to make love to me?" asked the wife expectantly. "He'll sleep through anything, so there's no problem. Just to check, reach down and pull a hair out of his bum." The salesman does just that. The farmer doesn't stir at all, so the salesman and the wife passionately embrace and make love. Once they've finished, they lay back basking in the glow of the most wonderful sex either has experienced. The farmer remains dead to the world. After a short rest, their passions rise, so the wife suggests he test the farmer again. Once again, the salesman reaches down and pulls a hair out of the farmer's backside. With no response, the salesman and the wife again indulge themselves. The lovemaking sessions go on through much of the night, each one preceded by the salesman pulling a hair out of the farmer's backside. Close to exhaustion, the couple decide to have one last go before they get some sleep. The salesman reaches down to pull another hair from the farmer's backside. This time, the farmer is awake and catches his hand. "Listen, lad," says the farmer, "I don't mind you shagging my missus, but do you have to keep using my ass as a scoreboard?" A man is leaving town for a business trip. Knowing he'll be gone for a few weeks, he decides to treat his wife to a new sex toy to keep her satisfied until he returns. However, looking around the local shop, he doesn't see anything that he thinks she'll like. At this point, the shop owner approaches and says, "If you're having trouble deciding, may I show you one of our special items?" "Sure," says the man. Thankfully, the owner takes out a box from behind the desk labeled Voodoo Penis and explains that it'll fit any hole and do anything you need it to using voodoo magic. The man is skeptical, so he asks for a demonstration. Happy to oblige, the owner says, "Voodoo Penis, my hand." At once, the previously inanimate phallus springs to life and starts moving back and forth in the owner's hand as if he were jerking it off. "Voodoo Penis, the door," he continues and points to the entrance. The magic dildo flies to the door, shrinks to the size of the door's keyhole, and starts going to town. "Now," cautions the owner, "this is the important part. Once it starts, it won't stop until it hears 'Voodoo Penis, your box.'" On cue, the voodoo penis leaves the door, changes back to its normal size, and returns, dormant, to the box. The man is thrilled with this find and buys it for his wife. When it comes time for him to leave, he gives her the new toy and demonstrates how it works like the shop owner did. The wife, very excited about the new toy, thanks her husband and wishes him well on his trip. About a week passes, and the wife decides to try out the voodoo penis. Removing it from the box, she says, "Voodoo penis, my pussy." Well, the penis doesn't hesitate. Jumping out of the box, it changes size to perfectly fit the woman's body and goes to town. It's fantastic. It does everything she wants it to and knows exactly when to speed up, slow down, get rough, be gentle, you name it. After her second orgasm, the woman says, "Voodoo penis, stop," but nothing happens. Again, she says, "Voodoo penis, stop," but still nothing happens. Realizing she forgot the magic phrase, she starts to panic. Grabbing some clothes and her car keys, she makes a mad dash to the hospital to see if they can help. She's about halfway there when she has a third massive, full-bodied orgasm and starts losing control of the car. At this point, a cop sees her driving erratically and pulls her over. "Ma'am, you're driving very recklessly. Care to explain yourself?" Well, she does her best to explain the voodoo penis to the police officer, but he's clearly not buying it. "It's the truth," she pleads shakily. "Yeah, right," scoffs the cop. "Voodoo penis, my ass." Little Johnny wants a BMX bike, so he gets down on his knees and writes a letter to God. It says, "Dear God, if I'm good for 1 month, will you get me a BMX bike?" He carefully folds the letter and leaves it at the end of the bed. He lies down under the covers and thinks for a moment. 1 month is too long to be good. He gets up and tears up the letter and writes another one. "Dear God, if I'm good for 1 week, will you get me a BMX bike?" He folds the letter and then thinks, "No, 1 week is too long." He writes another letter. "Dear God, if I'm good for 1 day, will you get me a BMX bike?" Looking at the letter, he tears it up. 1 day is too long. He jumps out of his window and heads to the local church. He grabs the statue of Mary, rolls it up in a blanket, rushes back home, and shoves it under his bed. He then writes another letter. "Dear God, if you want to see your mother again..." One day, little Johnny saw his grandpa smoking his cigarettes. Little Johnny asked, "Grandpa, can I smoke some of your cigarettes?" His grandpa replied, "Can your penis reach your asshole?" "No," said little Johnny. His grandpa replied, "Then you're not old enough." The next day, little Johnny saw his grandpa drinking beer. He asked, "Grandpa, can I drink some of your beer?" His grandpa replied, "Can your penis reach your asshole?" "No," said little Johnny. "Then you're not old enough," his grandpa replied. The next day, little Johnny was eating cookies. His grandpa asked, "Can I have some of your cookies?" Little Johnny replied, "Can your penis reach your asshole?" His grandpa replied, "It most certainly can." Little Johnny replied, "Then go fuck yourself." My friends, if you want to watch other funny jokes, subscribe to the channel.